Secondly, you will need a lighter coloured, felt coloured for the inner ear. And you won't need much if you're only making one pair, even significantly less than what I've cut off here. And then, for the base of the ear, the main colour, you want something like this. You'll need a bit more, but still, this is significantly more than you'd actually need to make a pair of ears. So, I'll just put that to one side. But you will also need a good pair of scissors, preferably fabric scissors, but I don't have, so I'm just using regular. Just so long as they're not blunt, then it's fine. And some fabric glue as well. You can alternatively sew it, but I didn't want the appearance of stitches, therefore I'm using fabric glue instead. And if you're drawing a stencil, I use a Sharpie, however chalk would be better, so that you don't waste any material. Or you could draw your stencil on a piece of cardboard beforehand. So these are the stencils that I've already made. I might make a few of these, so it comes in useful. And if you just lay out the base material, we're going to be cutting up a little section of this, and you want the ears to be slightly pointed because deer's ears have a slight point to them. Depending on how you would wear these ears, you might want to make them a bit bigger so that they fit onto your ear and cover your actual ear as to replace it. However, you can make them slightly smaller if you're going to attach them to a headband. So I'm just roughly cutting out the size that I need first of all for both ears with the stencil that I already prepared. And in fact, I wanted to make these slightly bigger than the stencil that I made so that I can slip it onto my ear and cover it entirely. And basically just cut around the stencil and neaten it out as you go along. Now, I am making these with a purpose. This will be for an upcoming video. Depending on my availability to film depends as to when it will be filmed. But first of all, I need to generate a storyline with triggers. So once you've cut out the basics, just neaten it up. This can take some time, and that's perfectly fine. You want to make sure that it's nice and neat. will also show you at the end of the video a way in which you could make it adhere to your ears as to replace your ears, because I find it weird when people dress up as deers or fawns or Bambi that they have their real ears as well as the pretend ears. So I wouldn't say it's more realistic because these ears are made of felt, but you know what I mean. And now, just doing the second ear, getting it as similar to the first ear as possible. But it is okay if they don't match exactly, because they're going to be on either end of your head, so it's not going to be apparent. But you will be gluing it like that later on to make the shape. Now I'm just going to round this one off a bit. Just do the second one as well. And now time for the inner ear colour. Again, with my stencil, we're going to go around that one. I actually ended up using my stencil by accident, so now I have no stencil to make more, but I'm going to make more because I want to put these on Etsy, because there's none available in the UK like this. Now with the fabric glue, or alternatively needle and thread, it's best if you get some tweezers to just be precise as to not get the glue where you can see it, because though it does dry kind of clear, it then takes away from the fabric-y appearance, because there'll be gluey mess everywhere. So very carefully then, not going by the very outer edge so that it doesn't spill over, just apply glue to each of the inner ears. You can be more precise so that you don't get glue everywhere. Just carefully pat it down, not excessively so, not to spill it over. And the other one. And press that down gently again as well. And now you should really use a bulldog clip. I didn't have one, so just put a blob of glue at the bottom of each ear, and we're just going to pinch the bottoms to create the ear shape. Pinch it by hand, and then I'm going to use the hair clip to hold it in place while it and stays like that. I will admit it's not the most ideal tool, but as I said, if you've got a bulldog clip, that would be better. And take a bit of fiddling around with the bulldog clip, or rather, my hair clip in this instance. And you just want to keep it like that for a couple of hours with both of them until it's fully dried so that it doesn't undo. Like so. And again, attach it to whatever you find most suitable, preferably a bulldog clip. Gets a bit fiddly because I'm adhering both on the same one, like so, and that will hold it in place while it dries. Now, while that's drying, we're going to cut the fluffy bits. I've already cut it in place here and glued it down. However, the fluff was a bit rogue, so I just went in with a bit of extra fabric glue and glued that down further. But nonetheless, these are very delicate props. As you're watching this, I wonder if there's any guesses as to what kind of roleplay that I'm planning, aside from a deer, but you know. And again on the other ear, I've cut into a diamond shape the fluffy material and stuck that down. And just using the glue to adhere the rogue fluff because it did stray away from the bulk of the material. So if you find anything more appropriate to use as a fluff, then by all means go ahead. Again, using the tweezers for precision, so not to get the glue where you can see it. And there you go, leave that to dry, and that's what they'll look like when they're done. Now, as I'm showing you here, as I mentioned earlier, I applied a bit of felt at the back and cut it open so that I could slip it on like a sleeve over my real ears. I would use spirit gum or latex to stick them down while I'm in character. Just bear in mind, you could only use it once or twice before the felt at the back gets messed up from latex. And there you have it. Let me know what you thought of this tutorial.